Thanks for joining me, Mr. P, for Chapter 8 of FAKER. Is that a mosquito? Logan slaps at his forearm. Oh man, I just got bit! The 9 members of the Youth Alliance for Albian Pond are gathered on the rotting planks of what used to be a boardwalk back when this place was a popular park. Now the walkway is a broken jumble of splinters, half sunken into the polluted water of what was once a well-loved swimming hole. A mosquito bite? I say dubiously. In November? My voice comes out a little nasal as a result of wrinkling my nose. Albian Pond reeks. Welcome to the mosquito capital of the world, Kaylee announces dramatically. You should see the place in summer. The bugs are like black clouds, and you can practically reach out and touch the stink. Caleb bounces experimentally on the rotted wood. I don't think it's safe to be standing on this. The whole boardwalk moves. What if it collapses under us? That would be almost good, Kaylee pronounces. It would prove how much the city of Box Elder has let this place go to rack and ruin. People have to live in this neighborhood, you know. I'm only 2 blocks from here. When the wind is right, we have our windows closed. Otherwise, you can't get the smell out of the house. Yeah, but if it collapses, we'll be in the water, Sherelle Aubrey complains. I just got these shoes. Kaylee is impatient. Everybody get your phones and start taking pictures. The Box Elder Chronicle is giving us a 2-page spread. This is our chance to show how awful this place really is. We fan over the beach, which is now 2/3 mud and strewn with junk. I probe farther along the boardwalk, but have to turn back when my weight sinks the structure to the point where the water is lapping at my sneakers. I squat down for a close look up, but I doubt the photograph will do justice to the color. A kind of blackish, brownish, grayish, yellowish, blech. I can't believe people used to swim here, I marvel, coughing a little to clear the fumes out of my throat. My parents had their first date here back in the day, Kaylee informs me. Supposedly the beach had food stalls and carnival games. She turns to Logan. Stop scratching. You want that to get infected? Logan's full concentration is on his mosquito bite, which is now nickel-sized. But it's itchy! She positions her phone over his arm and snaps a picture. Good point. Albian Pond isn't just an eyesore, it's a health hazard too. Mona Lisa is poised on the planks, tail in the air, staring down a palmetto bug the size of a Hot Wheels car. The calico swipes at it with one fat paw, sweeping it off the boardwalk and into the pond. A second later, it climbs up the pylon and faces off with her again. Mona retreats a step. I take a picture of that. I doubt it'll make it into the Chronicle, but these days, Mona spends about as much time at my house as her own. This is the first time I've ever seen her back off anything or anybody. Logan glances up from his scratching to shoot me a resentful look. This is all your fault, you know. I never would have joined the Yappers if it wasn't for you. What do I care if the creature from the Black Lagoon comes out of this swamp and eats the neighborhood? I laugh. We're not Yappers. We're YAAP. Now you sound like Kaylee. Somebody has to do something about this place, I insist. It's not just ugly and smelly. It's probably dangerous, and if the pictures we take today get in the paper, maybe that'll make a difference. I know I joined YAAP to meet people as part of my job for Dad, but today proves that Kaylee is 100% right. The town would never allow Lake Persimmon to turn into a sewer like this. Pointers are wealthy and have a lot of say in what happens around here. Why should the people of Albian, the neighborhood next door, have to put up with this just because they don't have as much money? It isn't fair. Which doesn't mean that I've forgotten about business. Now that the El Capitan prototype is being built, it's more important than ever for me to meet people and make friends. And it's starting to pay off. Logan's parents have invited us over for dinner. Dad is working on our next door neighbors, the sons, to split the cost of planting a hedge along our common property line. Thanks to the connections I provided, my father has already played mini golf with Mr. Atumwa, squash with Franco's dad, and mixed double tennis with Mrs. Aubrey and Lena's parents. Friendship greases the wheels of business, is how Dad describes it. Last week, he took me to the body shop where I His I know a guy is building the El Capitan for us. The place was pretty shady, with a giant auto graveyard out front, patrolled by a couple of dogs who looked like they would eat your whole leg in one swallow. I met Gator, our guy, who was scarier than the dogs. He was filing the Tesla logo off an engine part while I was there. When I get through this car, he assures us, nobody in the world is going to know what it used to be. I could sell it back to Elon Musk and he'd never have a clue that it came from his own factory. Dad nodded approvingly. Attention to detail. We shook hands all around. Even 4 days later, I still have some of that grease on my palm. It's the kind of stain that can never be washed off with just soap. It has to be worn off the same way in the Colorado River carved out the Grand Canyon. With a snap, the ancient wooden railing gives way and Logan tumbles off the boardwalk into the pond. As he falls, his first instinct is to save his phone, which he holds straight up in the air as the rest of him disappears into the slimy water. He breaks the surface, sputtering, and jams the phone into my hand. Then he climbs back onto the boardwalk with both Kaylee and me hauling him aboard. He gets a big ovation from the other YAP members. There he stands, dripping, covered in black silt and green algae. Mona circles my ankle, rubbing up against me, purring in enjoyment. Traitor, Logan mutters at her. Maybe she just wants a human she can be proud of, I tell him with a big grin. No, this is amazing, Kaylee raves, snapping pictures at light speed. This shows exactly how dangerous this place has been allowed to become. Thanks, Logan. I guess that makes me the yapper of the year, Logan grumbles. Where do I pick up my trophy? Nobody wants to stand too close to Logan, who smells a lot like Albian Pond. Also, he's starting to shiver. It's a comfortable afternoon, but not if you're soaked in swamp water. I get the inspiration to call an Uber to take him home. Another way to win points with the Romanos. But when I run the idea past Dad, he insists on picking me up himself. The others were planning on hanging out longer, but there's really no point. We've already taken more than enough pictures of for the Chronicle, so everybody calls their rides. When the other parents see Logan drenched in muddy algae, they produce blankets, sweatshirts, and jackets to wrap him in. Everybody has advice about the hot shower, hot tea, hot soup, hot chocolate he should seek out the minute he gets home. There's a spirited debate going on when Dad arrives, putting an end to all conversations. I see the red paint job first. It draws the eye. Even when the car is a block away. And when I recognize my father behind the wheel, I realize with a feeling that's beyond excitement that what he's driving is the picture from that brochure come to life. He's driving the El Capitan. It's here. It's ready. And it's 10 times more amazing than the artist's drawing. Gators come through, and the result is spectacular. A murmur bubbles up from the parents. Is that the new Jaguar? I'm pretty sure it's made by BMW. Looks Italian to me. Maserati, maybe. Or Alfa Romeo. It's so different. What is that thing? The El Capitan whispers up to the curb, and my father gets out, beaming. It has butterfly doors, the kind that open straight up. The dashboard wouldn't be out of place in a science fiction movie, and the seats are an off-white leather. There are sparkling particles in the paint, giving the entire chassis a feeling of elegance and depth. The shape is a work of art, curved by its famous sculptor. The wheel rims gleam like jewelry. Everybody, kids and adults, is staring at the car with their mouths hanging open. Okay, I know better than anybody that El Capitan isn't a real thing, but I've never been so proud of my whole life. Dad gets out and points to Logan, who's wrapped in so much material that he looks like a caveman in animal skins. Okay, Aquaman, let's get you home. Not in the new car, Mrs. Atumwa exclaims in horror. Your upholstery. Dad laughs. This leather wipes clean with a paper towel, no matter what you put on it. Logan poses the question that's on everyone's mind. What kind of car is this, Mr. Kirkwood? This? You think Dad was amazed that anyone would ask about this remarkable piece of automotive design? This is an El Capitan. Isn't she a beaut? El Capitan? Franco's father repeats. Never heard of it. What company makes it? You're looking at a prototype of El Capitan Motors, Dad explains. A brand new startup. 100% electric vehicles. A couple of years from now, everybody's going to be driving one. The next-gen battery technology gives you 1,000 miles on a single charge. Guaranteed. No other EV comes close. So help me, I've never seen a group of adults standing around drooling like this before. Suddenly, the fact that Logan is drenched and shivering means nothing to anybody. They fan out around the El Capitan, reaching to feel its glossy surface and caress its aerodynamic design. When Mr. Aubrey kicks the tires, he does it with respect and restraint. Mrs. Atumwa offers the judgment of all present when she says, in a hushed whisper, "It's gorgeous." Dad agrees. It sure is. Too bad nobody's going to be able to get one for a couple of years. You can practically cut the disappointment with a pair of scissors. You call this a prototype? Franco's father puts in. How come you have it? Dad looks startled for an instant and then laughs. I'm sorry. I should have explained that first. I work for El Capitan. That's why I'm in Box Elder. We're considering building our first factory right here. I'm also one of the founding investors. If my father had identified himself as the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, he couldn't have gotten a bigger response from the adults. They all start talking at the same time, peppering him with questions. But it's Logan, who has the courage, or maybe the bad manners, to say what they're really thinking. Wow, Mr. Kirkwood, you're going to be filthy rich. Dad chuckles indulgently. Well, I'm a minor investor, not one of the big money guys, but the beauty of this startup is, it isn't all hedge funds, bankers, and billionaires. It's folks, just like you and me. He bundles Logan and his cat into the back seat. I climb into the front and sink into the off-white leather. Dad waves a jaunty goodbye to his new fans and drives off. I know exactly what he's doing. He's dangling the bait in front of their noses, but instead of hooking the first fish that comes along, he's backing away, giving this first taste of the El Capitan a chance to spread around town. When we get to Logan's house, Mr. and Mrs. Romano are sitting on the front porch. Hey guys, their son calls to them, check out my sweet ride. His parents are so stunned at the sight of their son carrying his cat out of a unique prototype automobile that they didn't even notice he's totally slimed and wrapped in donated blankets. You did it, I tell my father when we finally pull into the driveway. I've never seen anything so smooth. You had those parents eating out of your hand. You're right. This really could be the big kahuna. Never mind that, he howls, leaping out of the butterfly doors. Quick, get the cleaning supplies. We have to scrub that sludge off the back seat. I frown. But you said the weather wipes clean with... I also said El Capitan is a real car company. I say a lot of things. Get a grip. Just because you admire what I do doesn't mean you have to believe it. We scour the back seat until the leather gleams clean. I don't love getting yelled at, but it's all part of being a full partner. My role has never been more crucial. If it wasn't for my comment about electric cars, Dad would never have gotten the idea for El Capitan in the first place. While working, I tell Dad about Albian Pond. What a shame it is that a town like Box Elder can let a beloved spot turn into a dump. As I speak, I realize that he's regarding me with a concerned expression. I'm not sure getting involved in this yap thing is a good idea for you, he says finally. I'm surprised. It's a great idea. You saw the place? We just cleaned a ton of it out of El Capitan. The people in that neighborhood shouldn't have to live next to a swamp just because they can't afford to buy houses in the point. We get the breeze off the lake. They get swamp gas and bugs, lots of bugs. That's too bad, Dad agrees, but it's not our problem. Don't you think it's everybody's problem, I argue? I mean, right now it's the Albian neighborhood. Next time it could be us. Shouldn't we all stick up for each other when something's unfair? That doesn't apply to us, he reminds me. We always move on. Right now we're here for El Capitan, and that's just getting started. But eventually El Capitan will run its course. And when it does, we'll be someplace else. It brings me up short, mostly because we just got to Box Elder, so it's hard to start thinking about the next Houdini. Okay, I know we're not here forever, I admit. But while we're here, this is our life. There's nothing wrong with getting involved in a really good cause, right? This girl, Kaylee, she's the Yap president. She set it up with the Box Elder Chronicle to publish our pictures showing how bad things are at Albian Pond. She's trying to convince the town to turn it into a park, like it used to be. My father frowns. Now that's exactly what I'm talking about. You being in the newspaper. That's too much publicity for one person who's supposed to fly under the radar. What if a wire service picks it up and someone from the Spielman community recognizes you? We want all the attention on El Capitan, not us. I nod soberly. I get it, you're right. I'm the one who doesn't trust Ariana to watch her mouth, and here I am guilty of the same risky behavior. But I can't resist adding. I really like Kaylee, Dad, and her father's my favorite teacher. I promise to be careful and I won't give us away. Dad thinks it over and nods. You're a smart kid, I trust you. He puts the finishing touches on a patch of white leather. We're done. I climb out of the back seat and toss my polishing cloth in the cleaning bucket. Are we going to put the car in the garage? Are you kidding? He chortles. A lot of people are going to drive by here in the next few hours. This is the best free advertising anybody ever had. And that wraps up Chapter 8. Thanks for joining me, Mr. B.